Hey guys, what's up? So yes, football skills, not out on a field. What's this all about? Because you gotta have, see, there's the mental skills. You go watch film, you read your books, you do your study guide, you learn your routes. That's mental skills. Physical skills, doing the drills. But then there's also weirdly emotional skills. Now, a lot of guys don't want to talk about their feels because they're dudes. But what happens, like I got a question Tuesday, Wednesday, forget when, was how to deal with a close loss. I haven't actually been around a team that had that happen. I mean, I had it happen to them. We were the winning team both times. The first time was one of those buzzer beater touchdowns, but it wasn't like a great arm throwing touchdown. It was like 15 yards into the end zone, but it was like third, fourth. It was a perfect quintessential, you'd get the end of the movie, everything would be successful sort of things that everyone kind of hears about. It says like, whew, caught it right on the goal line, and then he landed, and then right as he landed, the guy tackled him. If there was 1 second before, he would have tackled him, lost control of the ball, yada yada. But we wound up winning. And so the very next year, we wound up going to double overtime with the Bearcats and wound up winning. So let's think about the Bearcats with the double overtime. That's like near 6 quarters of football. And this was not like we were 3-3, 3-3. Not like field goal and 3-3 got to the end. This was like 20-17 or something like that. So no, it was obvious. No, whatever. The end of the game was like only in the 20 points, and then we had to go into a double overtime and then yeah. And how do you deal with like losing by that? Because depending on your overtime rules, you know, the first team gets a drive. If they make a point, you got to do it or you lose. That's what happened with us. We kicked, got through, wound up scoring, and so they had to do their drive, and I think we batted it down. Like they got close enough, we're gonna kick it through, and we batted it down. And they had no more attempts. So that would suck. Especially being that kicker. You know, and you're looking at like Blair Walsh on the Seahawks. You know, it's just sort of like, poof, and everyone did laces out. How do you deal with that? Well, if you were the person that caused it, terrible. Please call a suicide hotline. I'm not joking. Blair Walsh, and he's I mean, I know he's professional, but it's like, it's crushing if you're a kicker and whatnot. If the running back got through the line and you missed your tackle, you were just way off base, he squirreled through. Could it have been skill, or could you have been in a different position? You know, you can beat yourself up about it. But probably what you need to do is you need to talk to one of your friends. You may need to cry it out first by yourself. But yeah, if you're just normal, if you're just like not a very specialist player or a receiver and you were open but the quarterback didn't throw it to you, you know, it's sort of like what numerous things can lose a game, and especially by close points. How to feel, because it's like you tried everything. And again, like if you guys were fighting, because that's the idea, is a close game is a fought all the way to the end. If you score, if your last drive scores you 3 points, or scores them 3 points, and your game score is 3-0, you did really good as defense. You did not do so good on offense. But that means their defense was really good too. But again, that's a blame game. You just gotta suck that one up, that it just, you know, you really, really were trying. It just was not in the cards. You can commit no errors and still lose. That's life. Picard said it to Data because he was playing a game against someone and Data committed no errors in the game and still lost because the other guy basically cheated the system, but he didn't actually cheat the system. He just, clever use of game mechanics is what we call it in World of Warcraft. Sometimes the other team cheats, or they use a clever use of game mechanics. That one time when, you know, your defensive lineman jumped off line, or jumped off sides, got them 5 yards closer. You can get all up into the blame game about all that, but it never works because just shunting it to somewhere else is either going to come back on you because it was improperly placed and it will fall off the shelf eventually, or you're basically just hiding it. You're not dealing with it. And to know that you don't feel so alone on your team can help. I've done it with Willie on our losses. I didn't really have so much to do it prior on the pit bulls with those losses, and I know I certainly felt really alone because it's like we had that game and then it just like, you know, thankfully we had one, but like even the humbling loss to the Buzzards was like, what the heck? And so, and I most of that vlog is literally, I think, Alex drinking a soda, I'm in the back of the Prius, and Ryan Strong, who, he got all his stuff off. We just talked around the back part of the car. Like, the weekend videos are like, usually like half hour, 40 minutes. Well, this one was like 17 minutes of just football chat at the back of the car. Anyways, and that's a great way to vent, because it helped realize that I wasn't alone in the angst. And that's part of most of what these are. You're not alone. Even though, like, if you have a crippling injury that takes you out of the game, can even take you out of, like, even moving from your house much. Could have been a tweaked spine and they got to, like, everything's set for a little while. You're kind of in a weird body cast. That can happen in football. It seems pretty rare, but even, like, a torn muscle, torn glute, dislocated hip, numerous things can cause immobility. And so you will be stuck for a little while. And if you don't have anyone, you're going to dive inside your head. That's the key to all of this, is that a lot, and this goes with career-ending injuries. Like, what happens if in the movie 23 Blast, you get an infection from like a pool party or something, and it's just a school dance. You come back and all of a sudden you have an infection, and within a couple months, you've completely lost your sight. And then spring training's supposed to start up, and you were their star receiver? What do you do when you suddenly are blind? We watched that movie. Again, it's sort of like when you have a giant loss. It's sort of like you sort of wonder what you do. You can watch When the Game Stands Tall. That's about De La Salle and their streak loss. Assuming all the doctors and stuff, and you're sitting at home, literally just contact somebody. Somebody on your team. Somebody you probably have on your phone, Snapchat, Instagram. If they're not answering on any of those, find someone else. And that was beneficial for like this one, because I can't really go and start training on my linebacker stuff because I can't really run. In fact, I have trouble doing a one-legged squat on that leg. Like, I can get all the way down, but I can't place my full weight on it. So I have to like lower myself down. At least I can still walk, still talk to people, but getting out and working through the things that don't necessarily need to be walked through, or can be walked through, positioning, angling, that stuff, that's fine. But like necessarily working on some physical drills, like actually doing a swim move and trying to get past someone, can put strain on the leg and re-tear my thing. And I need to deal with the fact that I probably won't be doing serious linebacker training until perhaps October, when it's getting cold. That's that. How do you come back from an injury like that? You come back as the doctors say, as your injury happens, and you're gonna miss a season, and literally try to make it to every game you can and talk to someone during the middle of the week. Obviously you don't want to be wheeled up in a wheelchair. You might feel super weak, but you really should go to the game. The anticipation you felt before to after is different. Again, if you have a big loss, a significant loss, like you guys are fighting tooth and nail, and then the loss that would have got you into the playoffs gets snatched away from you. That's a depressing feeling because your season's over. And same thing with the playoffs. How do you feel about getting bulldozed by a team? How do you feel when you go into the team thinking, wow, this is actually fairly decent. We got a pretty good team. We've had a little rough start, but let's go. And then it's 77-0 at the end of the game, and you are just stunned. Like, that's what it is. You're stunned. And I know it's a broken record. Don't be alone. And don't be afraid. Bring these feelings up. I understand being with someone, but you need to talk. You need to be able to confide in someone, because I guarantee you there's probably someone on that team, there's probably a lot of them, that need the exact same thing. And when you expose each other to vulnerability, it's weird. A lot of guys think, oh, I don't want to be vulnerable, I need to appear strong. The thing is that it can grow a bond, that can get a bond, but to sink the bond, you need to be vulnerable around them, because then that signifies trust. And if you're able to be vulnerable around them, do it. Because they'll probably feel so much better, because then they can be vulnerable about it too. And a lot of guys just need a prompt, really. Because they're bubbling, they're bristling to the top, and they don't know what to do. Your team's there for you, and you're there for your team. And that's pretty much how to handle most of these situations. Is because you can look up at the thing of like, the 5 stages of acceptance, where you have, grief and anger and bargaining, and whatever you do, just don't turn it into a blame game, because that can start leading to a lot of other things in your life. And because then you start blaming your own teammates and you start being a toxic person to your team, and you do not want that. So I will catch you guys on the next skills and drills video. Hopefully it'll be one outside. Hopefully gonna get these out pretty soon. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.